the Delta State Renewable Energy Policy Roadmap 2023-2028 document, driven by Clean Technology Hub, with support of Henry Boy Foundation, in collaboration with stakeholders in the private energy sector in Delta State, is aimed at providing the context, direction, and focus for the implementation of plans, specified timelines, targets, and policy instruments to achieve the Delta State government's vision for universal access to electricity, climate resilience, and economic growth beyond oil in the state. The Delta Secretary to State Government, Chief Patrick Uka, represented by the State Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Gospower Ashoku, expressed optimism in the implementation of the Renewable Energy Policy Roadmap in the state.
Let me commend this organization for choosing Delta State in your bid to implementing the driving of renewable energy adoption at a state level. Delta State is very vulnerable to the impact of climate change. About 75% of vast majority of greenhouse gas, abbreviated as GHG, emission from the state are due to oil and gas, fossil fuel, extraction and combustion. It is therefore expected that the anticipated increase in temperature resulting from climate change will continue due to increased pressure and demand for energy from fossil. Therefore, there is the pressing need to transition from an oil-based fossil fuel economy to more diversified one in which renewable and clean energy plays a more prominent role. This will improve the electrification rate and replace existing sources of energy that are not climate or earth friendly in Delta State. Solar energy can be seen as ACOB and various forms of renewable energy. As well as most important, it is estimated that Delta State has an annual average solar radius of 4.53 kilowatt hour per day, which is the third highest in South region. Solar PV can produce 1,683.8 megawatt per hour in the state. There is therefore good potential for solar-based renewable energy solution in Delta State.
In his presentation, Deutschen Lochscheiter, the country director for Heinrich Boy Foundation, commended and encouraged Delta State in its foresight and efforts to position as well as take its place beyond oil.
Nigeria, I believe, will not be able to develop its full renewable energy potential if subnational spheres of government don't start to play driving roles in the rollout of renewable energy. All the more so now that states are allowed to generate and distribute electricity to their people. The potential of renewable energy does, however, not only lie in the provision of more kilowatt hours of electricity to the people of Nigeria. Its decentralized character likewise offers the potential to decentralize and therefore democratize energy governance. Renewable energy equally does allow communities, municipalities and state governments to establish and run their own power projects or help facilitate the requisite investments. However, this potential will not easily unfold by itself. Just like other sectors, the renewable energy sector needs sound regulation, market structure, incentives, and a vision to strive. The rollout of renewable energy in a place like Delta State also has to do with foresight. As the world will gradually but surely move away from fossil fuels over the next couple of decades, it is of utmost importance for Delta State to start thinking of a future beyond oil and gas today. An ambitious rollout of renewable energy could help Delta State to create jobs, diversify its economy away from oil, and explore the potential of producing and exporting green hydrogen, a fuel produced by splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen using renewable energy, and one that is set to become a significant energy commodity in the future. All of this summarizes the background against which we decided to support Cleantech Hub to begin to develop a renewable energy policy roadmap for Delta State in consultation with many stakeholders in civil society and government.
Mr. Darafon Bassi, Ifoma Malo, Ebe Gaya from Clean Technology Hub gave insight into the program and how the state can tap into foreign-funded projects with the Renewable Energy Policy Roadmap.
Our program in Delta State, so this just started in 2020 actually, where we took the support of our founders, the Renewable Foundation. We went to 3 states. We went to Delta, we went to Ondo, we went to Ebonyi. And what we did in those 3 states was first of all assess what the potential for energy in those states. What kind of energy drive in those states. And then also, you also did all the policies that exist at the national level. How can we ensure these policies are domiciled at the state level as well? Because we're quite surprised that this policy is at the national level, about 10 policies at the national level, but we came to the state level and most people are not aware of it. So we said, how can we bridge that gap between what happens at the federal level and the state level? So we met with civil society stakeholders, with government stakeholders, and from that engagement, we went back and we did a research on the potential of energy in those 3 states. And after we did that, we went back to our Renewable Foundation and said, okay, we see potential for this. How come we want to move forward? We want to move forward with the next phase of this project. And we decided that the Delta State was very key for what we're trying to do because Delta State is a state that has potentials. It's an oily state, and with the signs that we're seeing gradually happening, we have various oil companies that are now gradually pushing into renewable energy. We are seeing the gradual push through the SDGs. We're seeing all the codes that are happening over the years. So it's very, very obvious that renewable energy is the next state, the next big thing that's going to happen. And it's good for a state like Delta State to be at the forefront of it and to be focused and to be positioned to take advantage of what's going to happen as well.
When our partners at Renewable Foundation, when we planned this project, we started with 3 states. Those states were Delta State. By the way, none of us in the organization are from Delta State, so it was not a personal interest thing. We just felt like Delta was the best state to start the project with. There was also Ebonyi State, then there was Ondo State. Those 3 states were chosen strategically. For different reasons. Delta because it's an oil-producing state. Ondo State because of some of their agriculture. They sit on a hybrid. They have agriculture and then they're also an oil-producing state. And Ebonyi State because they're strictly an agricultural producing state. We did a lot of programs in these 3 states, I think from 2019 to 2020, trying to understand what it would take to get these states to begin to think about their energy transition. Because the truth is that the world is moving beyond oil. And if the world is moving beyond oil, how do we strategically position Nigeria, but also the states to be thinking beyond oil? What are those things that we have to do to be thinking beyond oil? What are those other productive activities we can get into beyond oil?
State governments and states ministries need to take advantage of these grants and these private financing opportunities. And one part of it is, I'm sure it was said earlier, that having a policy plan and an implementation plan gives an indication to foreign donors and foreign investors that the state is, or a state government is serious in getting those grants and opportunities.
The sunshine potential of solar-powered mini-grid, organic waste, technology sources, are some favorable factors that placed Delta State as the pilot state for the project. 5 sectors were identified for renewable energy power, which includes agriculture, education, health, ICT, and transportation. The State Commissioner for Transport, Chief Mike Oka, pledged to implement the roadmap policy as it concerns transportation.
I'm really impressed, and I'm hoping that immediately after this occasion, the state government will start implementing with what my co-chairman had just said. Those of us from the transport military, we know there are areas that concerns us when you talk about the tricycles and the keke and the motorcycle. Those areas, those are the ones that really brought my ministry here, because we find out that the situation of fuel right now, diesel, is really finishing us. So if there's any way that we can join with you to see that we fasten that, the ministry will be very happy over that.
The Permanent Secretary, Delta State Ministry of Energy, Engineer Blessing Ogaga, emphasized that the national grid cannot satisfy the energy needs of Nigerians and the advantages that the off-grid renewable energy will bring to Delta State.
The implementation of this very important policy will also help to complement the social and economic development aspirations of the state as part of the Delta Medium-Term Development Plan, DSMTDP, between the year 2022 and 2027. In complementing and supplementing the development of the National Renewable Energy Policy, Delta State has shown its willingness to engage with federal ministries, departments, and agencies, consultants, facilitators, and all other relevant stakeholders to bring standard guidelines for intergovernmental coordination of renewable energy implementations in Nigeria.
The Clean Technology Hub HBS-driven renewable energy adoption at state-level Delta State Renewable Energy Roadmap launch was attended by government and the private sector energy stakeholders. Charles Kosipre for Quest News.